Joanne was out of options. She was at her wit's end. Then she got connected with Darmstadt Shelter in Kingston, New York. After a short stay, they helped her get into permanent housing. Let's find out how Joanne did that and where she is now. Where are you from originally?
Westchester, Yonkers area.
And what brought you up here to Family of Woodstock, specifically Darmstadt Shelter?
I came to Darmstadt as a homeless person, and that was in 2014.
How did you find them?
Through the grace of God. Actually, DSS. I had to go to Department of Social Services.
The difference between Darmstadt and shelters that you're going to find in a major urban area, and things that you're going to see on TV, and what people's preconceived notions are about shelters.
Such as myself. I was hysterical, hysterical crying coming here.
Were you scared?
Yes, petrified. Because this is my first experience. Because I had this vision of city homeless shelters, you know, one big room with double bunks, 100 to a room. I had that stigma in my mind.
And you were afraid of the conditions?
Yes, big time. I got the nerve up to come in, and I was like, this isn't bad, you know? I saw the room and everything. I said, there's no 40 cots, you know, beds all in the room. It's like 3 beds to a room. It's very confidential here, and privacy is a big thing.
I've heard that Darmstadt is very different from a lot of other shelters. There are individual rooms here, you get a couple of roommates.
It's like a dormitory.
Yeah, it's like a dormitory, and there's a central kitchen area where we're sitting now, which is really homey. Mm-hmm. There's the living room. You're in walking distance to things on Broadway.
Yep.
And I've heard that it's just more of a homey atmosphere.
Totally. The first place they were going to send me was totally has like no rules, no regulations like here. They don't feed you as well as here.
They do a lot of meal service here. I see that you help out in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. Because I love to cook, and I always worked in my friend's deli restaurant. The funny thing is I hate cooking for one person.
What are your thoughts on food insecurity in relation to homelessness and beyond?
They go together. Take advantage of the food pantries and the farmers market. Ex-clients call here if they need foods and whatever.
The great thing is that you walk out the door, but you're not leaving.
That's right.
And you're not saying goodbye. You are moving onward and moving forward and growing, but
that's exactly right.
It's not like you can't come back or give a call if you need
right.
something. And people like you who come in and you're like, oh, I want to work in the kitchen and I want to help. Where does that come from?
I personally feel I owe them so much that I volunteer, I do whatever I can for them. I would bend over backwards for them, really, just as they did for me. You know, there's also shelters that they feel that a person is homeless, they're in the shelter, they're getting shelter. They don't go to the next step of helping that person so they could get off of being homeless.
Not only are they going to help you, they're going to empower you, and you are going to leave and not be alone.
Right, right.
And their concept with handling the homeless issues is to bring people not only out of the shelter, but into their own living facilities.
Yes.
And have you experienced that?
Yes, I have. There's a program called SPOA, Single Points of Access. That's the core of the program, and they have branches. And what they do is they help you get on your feet, and they pay like 3/4 of your rent.
So Family of Woodstock has someone who helps you and is a liaison with SPOA.
Yes.
And they help you get into housing, they help you pay your rent. How long have you been out of the shelter?
April of 2015.
So you've been out of the shelter almost a year and you're still coming back. Why is it that you want to give back to family?
I feel I have to give back to the community as well as family to express my thanks. And if I wasn't here, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have left and stayed in my car or something.
One thing that I've noticed about family is that they're constantly empowering.
Yes.
And constantly helping people help themselves.
Like they have GED classes here. But again, family makes it mandatory for those who don't have.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do. So they help you get your GED too?
Yes, they do.
See, I didn't know this. I'm finding out things as I'm going along and talking to people. It's a learning experience for me because I grew up in this community. And I knew Family of Woodstock, that's Darmstadt, that's the domestic violence shelter, and that's food pantries.
And they have more.
And there's all this other stuff they do,
Yeah.
and all this other help they can give to people, and there are people out there not taking advantage of it.
Yes.
What would you say to those people?
It's foolish not to, because it's there at your doorstep.
Family gives to so many people, but what do they need?
Family needs people just as much as we need family. And contributions and also investors are so much needed.
And volunteers.
And volunteers, absolutely, to keep this going, to keep it alive. And it's been alive for a long time.
And if we don't start helping organizations like Family,
Right.
who's going to help us when
That's
we get
right.
there?
That's right.
When someone gives to you, it makes you want to keep giving, and it's
Right.
something that I think is instilled in people for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
What's your biggest goal from here on out?
I'm going back to school.
You are.
I'd like to get a position here. I want to work with families.
You seem so wise to me. What would your advice be to someone out there who might need a little bit of extra help, who might be considering reaching out?
There's so much help out there that you put your pride aside and just go for it. The people that are at these positions, they're there to help, and they do a damn good job of it.